the action girl. Some female characters are tough, but action girls? They take it to the next level. Because for a long time, action stories followed the same old rule. Men fight and women get rescued. Because of this, action girls feel like a total subversion. A character that breaks the mold and goes against what is deemed acceptable. But as time went on, things started to change. Now, action girls are so common that entire stories are built around them. Attack on Titan is filled with action girls. The military doesn't care about gender, and the result? Some of the toughest women in anime history. Mikasa? Absolute beast in combat. She's so deadly that people compare her to an entire army by herself. And she proves it every time she takes down Titans with ease. Neon Genesis Evangelion is the same deal. Asuka and Rei are straight-up legends, taking on massive threats in their EVAs and winning. This next trope is the complete opposite to the action girl, though. Some characters are cool, some are tough, but dorkable characters? They're on a whole other level. They're awkward, clumsy, maybe even a little nerdy. You'd think a character like this wouldn't be popular since they're nothing like the ideal hero. But that's where you'd be totally wrong. Instead of being absurdly powerful or impossibly attractive, adorkable characters feel real. And here's the best part. Even badasses can still be adorkable, as long as they've got awkward, shy, or nerdy moments underneath the surface. Haikyuu's Kageyama is peak adorkable. He's insanely good at volleyball, but the moment you take him off the court, total social disaster. His serious attitude about the dumbest things, like choosing a yogurt drink at a vending machine, only makes him even more endearing. Shinji Ikari? Yeah, he fits too. He apologizes constantly, plays the cello, and is way too self-deprecating for his own good. And somehow, that's exactly why people love him. But this next trope probably isn't liked by too many. You see, some villains are evil to their core, kicking puppies, burning down villages, and laughing while they do it. But then there's this kind of villain, the one who's friendly, charming, and honestly kind of fun to be around. But make no mistake, a villain is still a villain. Death Note is a perfect example. The Shinigami are super chill. Ryuka's just here for the apples and treats Light like his weird roommate. But still, it was him who inadvertently gave Light the Death Note and instigated his killing spree. Askeladd from Vinland Saga is another one. He's ruthless and deadly, but also a very friendly fellow and genuinely enjoys partying and laughing it up. While the affably evil villains are well respected, this next type of villain probably isn't. Some villains are terrifying, unstoppable forces of nature. Others, they get absolutely zero respect. They've got big dreams, big plans, and a big chip on their shoulder. But the heroes don't even take them seriously. Now, don't get it twisted. They want to be villains. They want to outdo their rivals, take down the hero, and finally get the respect they think they deserve. But there's something about their pathetic perseverance that just makes them kind of likable. Team Rocket are the textbook definition of this trope. And every once in a while, they actually pull it together, which makes it even funnier when they go right back to blasting off again. In Sonic X, Dr. Eggman is exactly the same. The guy comes up with crazy plans, throws everything he has at taking over Station Square, and fails every single time. But villains aren't the only characters with major flaws. Some heroes are bold, fearless, and charge into battle without hesitation. Others, however, are shaking in their boots every step of the way. But here's the thing, when it really matters, they show up. When push comes to shove, they'll do whatever it takes to keep their friends safe and make it out alive. But unlike other heroes who toughen up after one big moment of bravery, these characters never stop being scared. They're nervous in their daily lives, they constantly doubt themselves. And yet, when it counts, they step up anyway. But no matter how much they doubt themselves, their friends see them for what they really are, braver than they think. Zenitsu is the definition of a cowardly lion. He spends half his screen time screaming that he wants to run away and freaking out over every little thing. But despite his constant breakdowns, he's got one of the strongest moves in the series. And even if he doesn't believe in himself, his friends sure do. Attack on Titan? Sasha Blouse is the perfect example. She completely loses it in her first battle and even apologizes to a Titan. But when it really matters, she charges down a 50-meter wall to save a comrade and takes on a Titan with nothing but a bow and a hatchet. The opposite of this trope is probably an Agent Peacock. Some guys are macho, rugged, and tough, but Agent Peacocks, they're nothing like that. They're flashy, dramatic, maybe even a little vain, but don't let that fool you. They're just as deadly, just as skilled, and honestly, probably better at their job than anyone else. For some of these guys, looking fabulous isn't just a choice, it's a strategy. If a guy can show up to a fight in a silk robe and still beat the living hell out of his enemies, that's terrifying. But they also go through the same battles, the same insane struggles, and do it without breaking a sweat. Tengen Uzuya's peak Agent Peacock. Dude is obsessed with being flamboyant. He's got gemstones on his clothing, an insane amount of swagger, and somehow, he still kicks ass. But this isn't the only trope which can fool somebody. Some characters are big, strong, and built for combat. Others, they look like they belong in a library, not a battlefield. But here's the twist, they're secretly dangerous. They might be soft spoken, nerdy, or just plain awkward, but when it counts, they can throw down with the best of them. Their secret? They treat combat like a puzzle. Instead of brute force, they use flawless technique, strategy, and precision. They look harmless. But when it comes down to it, they're anything but. Kakashi Hatake is the perfect example. He's as smart as Shikamaru, but also one of the most elite ninjutsu users in the Hidden Leaf. L from Death Note is also a pure badass bookworm. He's lazy, awkward, and always hunched over, but when he needs to, he can take on Light in a straight-up fistfight. But this next trope is one of my favorites. Some characters are rude, cold, and just straight-up mean. Others, they're secretly the nicest person in the room. The jerk with a heart of gold acts tough, but deep down, they care. They might mock their friends, insult their allies, and act like they don't give a damn. But when it really matters, they're the first one to step up. Most of the time, they don't even want people to know they care. They'll play it off, act like it was no big deal, or straight up deny they ever did anything nice. And honestly, they usually have a good reason for being angry all the time. Maybe they're surrounded by idiots. Levi is the ultimate jerk with a heart of gold. He's cold, rude, and acts like he doesn't care. But when it matters, he's the first one to protect his squad and do whatever it takes to keep people alive. Nami is another perfect example. She started off as a greedy, manipulative thief, but deep down, she was trying to save her village, and even after she was free, she still had that caring streak underneath all her attitude. Next is the working-class hero. Some heroes are born into privilege and elite training. Others had to grind for everything. They don't have formal education, fancy tutors, or an easy life, but what they do have, common sense, street smarts, and an insane work ethic. Put them in a room with rich, highly educated professionals, and guess what? They still outthink them. They've been in the trenches and figured things out the hard way. Tanjiro is the definition of a working-class hero. Before he became a demon slayer, he was just a kid selling charcoal to feed his family. His kindness, his determination, his relentless drive were all shaped by years of hard work before he ever picked up a sword.